past week, top 10. I'm going to just put number 11 in there. I got to go with Chuck Poole. I got to put number 11 in there. Chuck Poole coming in number 11. Way to go, Chuck. One family help for $25.59. Joe Skelly, one family, $25.96. Deep Dub, David Whitehead, two families for $31.57. Patty D, three families, $35.75. John Kite, yours truly, three families for $37.03. Harold, Big Man Lassiter, four families help for $37.49. Great week, Harold. Deborah Kling, look at Deborah. Deborah, it was so cool seeing you in Orlando on Thursday. But Deborah Kling, four families help. Coming in number 5 with four families help for $38.79, almost $4,000 a week. Jimmy Treats Jr., one family for $4,800. I'm not sure what you wrote that family, but I'm going to tell you. If I wrote one family $4,800, I'd be camping out in their front yard like, hey, y'all need anything? I love you. Just kidding. Just a little bit. Not really. Hey, Jimmy Treats, way to go, man. Casey Gregory, 5,000 every single week working Ethos leads. Casey Gregory, 5,000 a week, averaging $5,000 a week, working $500 a week, $7 Ethos leads. Casey Gregory, way to go, man. You coming in number 3. With four families help for $48.61. Man, that's real close to $5,000. Number 2, Jason. What can Brown do for you? 6 families. Love Jason Brown. Jason is mortgage protection all the way. He's killing it. We're actually going to have Jason on most likely next week as our guest. But anyway, Jason, just one of those awesome mortgage protection producers. As you guys tell, he's always on the top of our leaderboard. 6 families help for $6,644. Number 1 for this past week, Derek Uwazi on the Floyd Alvarado team. 6 families help for $7,786. There can only be one number 1, Derek. That's you, buddy. So I want you walking around today, put on that Ric Flair robe, that world championship belt, and walk around screaming, woo! Awesome stuff, Derek Uwazi. All right, guys. Proud of everybody that made it onto the leaderboard. Hey, JK2, good morning to you out there.
Good morning.
Who's leading this thing? Who wants to eat some steak, man?
So leading on the personal producer's side, is Jason Brown. And then on the most attendees, that would be yours truly, Floyd Alvarado.
Awesome. So how many does Floyd have committed?
I haven't seen an updated one. Hopefully they'll send it after this weekend. But I think, Floyd, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, I think at least 5 or 6, maybe 7.
Okay, so here's the deal, guys. So I know that ticket sales, it ended, then it opened, and now it's kind of, but here's the thing. Okay, so we've got until this Friday at 5 p.m. Am I right, JK? Is that when we announced the contest was going to end?
Yeah, I think Fridays is either 5 or 5:30. So around that time frame, we'll have
whatever Equus's close of business is. Okay, Equus Financial's close of business this coming Friday. We're going to end it. JK2, you're going to pull the numbers, and we're going to have 2 winners. We're going to have a top personal producer, and we're going to have the top, what we're calling agency builder. Okay. So for this week, okay, I don't know where ticket sales, I don't know if like right now you can buy tickets or not, but here's what I'm going to do, okay? And I do realize that I'm opening myself up for just some like, you know, I understand I'm opening up, but here's the deal, guys. Right now, I think we're at like 30 people committed to attending. See, it's never my goal to get somebody to buy a ticket. That's never my goal. My goal is to get people to Indianapolis. Buying a ticket doesn't change your life. It's going to Indianapolis that changes your life. So I could care. I don't want ticket sellers. I want influencers who know how to promote, who absolutely know the power of these events. And I don't care how you do it, you get people to Indianapolis. So ticket sales may be close, whatever. Okay. But if you get, okay, this week, okay, and this counts, okay, if you have somebody in your team that says, I'm committing to go to Indianapolis, I don't have a ticket, but they email me, okay, you got my email, okay, if they email me and they say, hey, I'm committing right now to be in Indianapolis, I will figure it out. You have my word on it. I'm going to be in Indianapolis. They count. Now, that is if they can't go ahead and purchase a ticket. If they can purchase a ticket, that's what we want, right? But if you're an agency builder out there and you're trying to win this contest, you're trying to take down the almighty Floyd Alvarado, which congratulations, Floyd, on leading so far. Awesome job. Hopefully you're committed to getting, if you've got 7, hopefully you're committed to getting 7 more. Guys, right now, the Cornerstone Group, I think we're at 30. There's absolutely no reason in the world we can't and we shouldn't go in with 50 plus people in Indianapolis. Okay, and that's very, very low. Okay, I want to say a number much higher than that, but here's what it takes. It takes people building their business, and it takes people promoting the conference and saying, hey, what do I need to do to help you get there? Let's go. You will make the conference better, but your life gets changed in the process. So getting you there. So there are some of you out there, you are a business builder in your heart. You don't have anybody coming, but by the time December the 2nd rolls around, you should have 5 to 7 people coming with you. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Okay. So we're not stopping right now, because here's the thing. I promise you, I will get your people tickets. I promise you, that there will be people that can't go, not in our team, but in other people's team. There will be people that can't go. There will be people that don't show up, flight issues. See, I had flight issues, couldn't get out. See, people that don't want to go, they come up with all kinds of excuses, okay? But here's the thing. I promise you, I will get your people tickets. I will get your people in the room. Your people will not come to Indianapolis in vain, okay? So if ticket sales are done, anybody that emails me and says, I'm committing to go, I will figure out how to get myself to Indianapolis. I will count them as a ticket sale. Okay. This coming Friday at 5 o'clock or 5, whenever close of business is over, we will do the numbers, and the top business builder and the top personal producer, you will be invited to join us. I think it's the night of the 2nd, but we're going to go. Kim and I are going to host you at my favorite steakhouse on the planet. There's not a steakhouse in the world that I've eaten at that I like better than St. Elmo's. So we look forward to that, and it's going to be really, really cool. Okay, JK2, we got Chris Tinsman on. Hopefully this is being I just want to make sure this is being recorded, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want this to go down into like the annals of Cornerstone Group. Like I want Chris Tinsman is going to talk about her success, her personal production. But you guys know, and I actually talked to y'all about this maybe last week or week before last when we were promoting it. But Chris Tinsman has been so instrumental. When you think of the Cornerstone Group, I want you to think of Chris Tinsman, because really without Chris Tinsman, I don't think the Cornerstone Group is here. Guys, when I got started with Ethos in August of 2016, I was restarting my career, and basically I'm somebody that my dream was to build agencies. My dream was massive building and duplication. But that season of my life, Kim Kite can come here and probably speak to it better than I can. But that season of my life, I had just kind of thought, hey, I'm going to take my dream or what I thought was my calling of building, and I'm going to put it on the shelf right now. Actually, what I did was I buried it. Okay. And I said, I've got to go out and learn personal production, and I got to go out and write $5,000 a week in order to get my family to safe ground. And so my 100% focus was on writing 5,000 a week. Can I tell you guys, the only person I looked at in all of Ethos Financial was Chris Tinsman. Chris was doing it. She was living the life that I wanted to live at that time. And Chris, you may even want to start out speaking to this, but Ethos, you were on a lot of the Ethos calls, and Ethos was basically talking about your personal production, and you had created a savings account, which at that time of my life it was a faraway dream for me. But you had a savings account with 6 figures in it. And I just remember thinking, golly, how awesome would my life be if I could just get to the point in my personal sales where I can make enough money, survive, and then thrive, and actually have a savings account of 6 figures in it. Chris, I'll say this, and then I'm going to hush and just want you to kind of start, because we've got a lot to cover today. But I also remember you being willing to jump on a lot of and when I say team calls here, guys, I will tell you, I have the napkins to prove it. Okay. When we say our cornerstone team calls, I'm talking about 5 or 6 people. When I would do my leaderboard, here's how I did my leaderboard every week. I would go back through my GroupMe over the last week, and everybody that posted a sale or whatever on GroupMe, you got on the leaderboard. But I remember we had a team call, and it was all of probably 4 or 5 people. But I asked Chris Tinsman, I said, Chris, would you jump on this team call? And I remember I was out in the field, and I pulled into a church parking lot somewhere in Broadway, North Carolina. Broadway is a suburb of Sanford, North Carolina, but somewhere out in the country. I pulled in this country church, okay, and maybe it was Irwin, North Carolina, but I remember Chris jumped on, and she did a conference call for our team, and it was those moments that helped me build my belief that we could actually pull this off. So Chris Tinsman, thanks so much for joining us today as our guest. And like I said to you earlier this morning in text, girl, this is all about personal profitability. We've got so many good agents that I think could be averaging over 5,000 in production a week that right now is just, they're being held back a little bit. Maybe it's a belief thing, maybe it's whatever. But there's nobody for you to do to them what you did to me back in 2016. We're gonna unlock a lot of people this morning.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to be with you guys. One of my favorite, families, John Kite's family, friends with everybody in the family, including the pups. So long story short, I don't know, I always believe that people come and go in people's lives. I think it's God's grace that it actually happens. I don't think it's by accident. My success is only because I'm willing to do the work that other people aren't willing to do. It really isn't, excuse me. It's not a talent that I have that you don't have. It's probably just the fact that I'm willing to work harder. I'm willing to go through all of the bad, ups and downs to have the success, because you don't have success. I don't think success is by accident. I think success is built on failures and hard work. So I think you need to realize that you have to fail before you can have a lot of success. And I can honestly tell you, I've probably failed more than anybody in this business. I've tried everything. I've failed at everything only to find success because I've been consistent at failing. If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Now, as far as, my personal success, I mean, I never dreamed that I would be able to give back to my community. I never dreamed I would make enough money to be able to help my community or do anything. I just knew that whatever I was going to do, I was going to work hard at it. I was going to give it 100%. I wasn't going to dip my toe in the water, and I wasn't going to complain about the leads, and I wasn't going to complain about my failure. And I think that everybody's mindset going into this type of a business, being a 1099, you have to have a consistent mindset. You have to understand that you don't need and you shouldn't need a babysitter. Maybe for the first 4 to 6 weeks, you might need somebody helping you with underwriting, but you have to understand it's your business. So the only person that's responsible is the person that's looking back at you in the mirror. And I just believed that if anything was going to happen, if I was going to do this business, it wasn't going to be from a lack of trying. And that, for real, is what I based my life on. And I based this business on. I was going to put money back into the business, and I was going to be able to have some success, but I also knew that I had to fail in order to have that success. So with Ethos, and I don't know if you want me to keep going,
So I do know you started out back in when I first met you and was really inspired by you. We were working mortgage protection leads.
Correct.
But somewhere along the way, you certainly have become the top Ethos producer. Amazing, and so I just love for you to talk, but yes, I want you to specifically talk about Ethos today, but maybe to start off with, talk about whatever lead type somebody's working. What's the rhythm? What does it really take, Chris, for somebody to go out and succeed? I don't care if they're working final expense leads, mortgage protection, Ethos. It tends just to be, there's a close ratio on A leads, and then there's a 5 to 7% close ratio on everything else, meaning inventory leads. And so, but what does it take in this business to go out and consistently make 6 figures like you've done ever since I've known you?
Yeah, I mean, it just takes buying leads every week.
Yeah.
Reinvesting in your business. And depending upon what lead you get, what lead you buy, we always go by the 10-6-3 rule. Buy 10, sit on 6, sell 3. I don't know that that's ever really changed. I mean, I think sometimes it does, but I also think it's a lot more difficult these days to contact people and to get people to respond. And that's just because of everything and how it's changed. I mean, even over the last 4 to 5 years. But I just think to win in this business, you have to be willing to sacrifice time, sacrifice dials, sacrifice money. Every successful person that has ever walked the face of this earth has invested in their business. You have to invest in order to make money. They always say you have, people who have money make more money. Well, yeah, that's how this thing works. And if you don't have money in the beginning, then you have to sacrifice time. And most people aren't willing to sacrifice time. Time is something you can't get back. But let's just say, if I said to you, okay, so you have to sacrifice 2 or 3 years to really become consistent and to be very profitable. Maybe the first year you break even, maybe the second year you make 25 or 50,000. But I know that if you will just sacrifice something like time, And if you miss events, well, guess what? Somebody's going to have a birthday next year. So it's okay to miss an event here and there. I'm not saying that family and friends and people aren't important. What I'm saying is that if you want to be successful and you want to win at a high level, it comes at a cost, period. I can't change that. Nothing's going to change that. Time doesn't change that. Would you not agree, John?
Totally. Absolutely.
I think our minds are so narrow and we sit in these small boxes that we won't get outside the box to fail to succeed. And we're sitting in a box and said, well, hey, so and so said this. This is what, this is what I'm supposed to do. But at the same time, yes, you're supposed to do this, but you have to think outside the box in order to be better than average. Let's just call it that, if that's what you will, because that's all I believe I am. I don't believe I'm a superstar. I am not Deanna Cooper. I cannot write $1 million. I don't want to write $1 million in business. That is not me. Here's what I want. I want to be able to provide for my family. I want to be able to go out to dinner and not have to check the price on the dinner menu. And I want to be able to give back to my community and do the things that I love to do, not live paycheck to paycheck. That's my goal.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? That means I'm in the top 5% in the country of income every single year for the last, 19, 18 years.
Okay. So, I'm going to just pause you right there because this is something so many people. Okay. So I'm hosting the Gold Standard call on Wednesday. In my mind, I'm kind of like, Chris, I'm thinking about doing something scandalous on Wednesday. I don't know if I'll pull it off or not, but here's a question. Okay, so you consider yourself average. Okay, I think you're one of the most humble people ever. Like, I love your humility. You're a rock star. You can look at your production inside of Ethos Financial. You can even compare your production across all IMOs, and you're anything but average. But you mentioned Deanna Cooper, okay? Okay, and I want you to be honest with me, okay? This just may even require you to toot your horn just a little bit. I know it's not in your, I want you to think of you as Ovechkin, okay? By the way, guys, the only time Chris and I disagree over anything is when we're talking about hockey, and it comes down to Carolina Hurricanes versus her Washington Capitals, okay? So, but Chris, you mentioned you're not Deanna, okay? But let's talk about the only separation between you and Deanna, because people that don't understand lead-driven sales, they look at a Deanna Cooper and they go, oh my gosh, what? I want her phone script. I want her, but see, it's none of that. It comes down to you are where you are because of the quality of life that you want. You're never going to go write $1 million on your own pen because that's not your life. You're not going to go work this 7 days a week for a year to go write that. You're never going to invest $4,000 a week into leads. Okay. So let's do something scandalous for a moment. Okay. If you take Chris Tinsman and you put Chris Tinsman into a box of elite producers, and you can throw maybe the Tanya Hughes in there, even though I know she's kind of getting up towards Deanna based on lead investment and production. But when you look at the most incredible producers who still have a life, Lori Martin, you could throw a lot in there. What have you, okay, again, just what's been your average annualized income being a lead-driven sales producer?
It's averaged between 250 and about 450,000 for about 16 years.
Okay, so let's just say your average is somewhere around 325 to 350 a year. Okay, that's your average. Good year, bad, great year, bad year, whatever. And I think that a lot of people would love to have that income and your lifestyle because you train dogs, you travel all over, you love to fish, you have an awesome husband named Jay. Like you make on average 350 a year, and you have a life to go along with it. I think that's pretty good in the professional ranks. Okay. What has been virtual and face-to-face together, but what is your average lead investment? And I don't care what lead type you work, but what's your average lead investment each week in order to be that type of a producer?
So crazy because it's changed probably a lot over the last 3 years. And I would tell you, if I had to guess average, and I know because I pay the bills, so I'm probably ranging between maybe 400 and 5,500 a month. And
Okay.
you've got producers that are spending that per week, and I just refuse to do it. I'm just not that. I'm not that guy. I'm not that gal.
Yeah, so it's pretty safe to say though that you're around $1,500 a week. Okay, which here's the thing, that's beautiful because it's right in line with where I thought you'd be.
Yep.
Because, and I don't know if I'll do it or not, but if I could have Deanna Cooper, if I can have a top elite producer, a mere mortal, okay, and then if I can have some people kind of down into the average 5,000 a week, here's what you're going to see. The 5,000 a weeker has every bit of the ability that a Deanna Cooper has. The only difference is that the person writing about 5,000 a week is investing probably $500 to $700 a week in their leads versus Deanna Cooper $4,000 a week. So when the scandal in our industry is it's not sales aptitude that creates the difference. It's number one, your desire. What is your desire? Most people like me and Chris, I have absolutely no interest at all in going and writing $1 million on my own pen. Okay. That would be the definition of hell to me. Okay. Doesn't mean I don't care about people. It's just that I care about my lifestyle a little bit more. Right. But and I know it's scandalous, but the very moment we on this team start to figure that out, you can look at your production and then tell us what your lead investment is. Okay. Okay. Anyway, Chris, any comments on that?
No, I look at it like I'm looking at all these top producers. Remember, I'm like 12 years older than them too. And I'm just not that motivated. I mean, could I do it if somebody challenged me enough and said, hey, I want you to do this for 8 weeks. I want to see what you can write. Do you think that you can match those guys? Well, I mean, yeah, because really it's all about the numbers. And
Yeah.
it just doesn't even matter. It's like, okay, so I'm going to buy X amount of leads. I'm going to dial this amount of times, or I'm going to run the leads through my funnel. I'm going to have X amount of appointments. I'm going to sell X amount of policies. It's all a numbers game. Everything has always been a numbers game. Now, is it also have a little bit to do with how well you can get past the objections on the phone to set an appointment or to get an appointment? Absolutely, it does. But I mean, it's so crazy. We talked about this. So you figure I've been doing this since 2008. And I used to dial, because somebody asked me the other day, they're like, how many hours did you dial? Okay, well, let's do the math. Pull out your calculator. This is craziness. So my average dials per hour is about 100 with the triple dialing that I do. So I don't know, JK2, pull out your calculator, do the math, brother. So say I dialed for 16 hours a week. That was my typical dial set, 3-4 hour sessions. That's basically what it was to get me my 20 to 24 dials, 24 appointments, sorry. And if I was doing 100, now multiply that by 52 weeks. So I did 100 an hour. So that's what? 16,000 a week, right? Or 1,600 dials, basically a week. Now multiply it by 52 weeks. And now multiply it by like 18 years. How many dials have I made in my lifetime?
A bunch.
What is it, JK2?
A little under 15, no,
Million?
1.5 million.
Yeah. Yeah. And then people want to know, well, I don't understand how you get past the objections. Why? And I can guarantee you, because I failed a lot more than you did. And that's why people just don't wrap their brain around it. Like it's like, okay, you know, and I just wanted to buy my time back. And that's an average dialing, because people ask me every time they get into this business, that's the number one question. Well, how many dials do you make? It's not how many dials do I make? It's how many appointments do you need to set per week? So you dial whatever it takes you to dial. Stop micromanaging your dials and start micromanaging your appointments. And I think that's the hardest part of what we do. Now, if you're fortunate enough to be able to buy your time back, because money allows you to buy your time back in a lot of different ways, which means you don't have to make as many dials, which means the dial time goes down. But I promise you, during Thanksgiving and Christmas, you will make twice that many dials, or you should be, to get that many appointments.
Yeah. Hey, I know JK2's got some things he wants to run down with you, and I want you to have time to do that. But that kind of takes me into, okay, so I sent a post out to our organization this morning, just talking about basically from today through the weekend of first of the year weekend, okay? Before we really get into 2026, we've got 55 days. So let's just say that from today through the first of the year, we've got 55 days that make up the holiday season. Okay. Chris, I know this for a fact because I've been doing this way too long. Okay. There are people, there are individuals, and there are teams that will have their best months of the year over these next 2 months, the next 55 days. There will be individuals and teams that have their biggest profitability over the holidays. Okay. Talk about your mindset, especially back when, you know, you were really, you know, maybe struggle is not the right word, but you were fighting to be who you are now. What was your activity and thought process like during the holidays?
Man, I used to run right all the way up until Thanksgiving, number one, because that's when typically the holidays start. But you guys have to remember, Thanksgiving is one day. It's not a week or a weekend. And then there's a lot of people that have family that are, you know, going to be in town. And of course, you've got your Black Friday, which is the biggest purchase day of the year. So why can't it be associated with life insurance? Like, why is our mindset totally different when it comes to what we do? Why? Because it's a transaction and there's nothing that you can hold in your hand once you make that transaction. That is the only difference. The difference in my mind is that it protects their family, whereas they buy a bicycle for somebody, it doesn't protect their family. So for me, it's like, why would you not spend your money on that and you'd go spend your money on a bicycle? So I guess my mindset has always been different because I really cared about protecting families. So it was important to me to make sure that I was running hard during the holidays and that I got my brain wrapped around the fact that the people who are going to purchase are going to be the people who make bigger purchases, which means you might have less purchases, but you might have bigger numbers. So I think you have to just make more dials and set more appointments to actually get all the applications issued before the end of the year.
Love it. And my last question, just want to hear your comments on this, but going from predominantly a 100% mortgage protection producer to Ethos. Okay. Talk about your mindset around Ethos leads, why it's really commanded 100% of your focus, and what if people are going to work Ethos leads and they're going to make them work for them, what needs to be their thought process? So
here's Ethos in a nutshell. Number one, It's a buyer. It's somebody who was online shopping for life insurance, put their data into the website. For some reason, they either abandoned the cart early or they didn't purchase it. And typically the mindset is this. Number one, you're sitting in front of a buyer. Number two, they wanted instant gratification and they didn't get the pricing or the coverage they were looking for some reason. So you then at that point in time, when you buy that lead, you become what they call a ticket taker. In my opinion, you are a ticket taker. You are a helper. You are the person that was supposed to contact them to help them and to shop for them and to make it an easier transition to get the coverage they were looking for. And I think that's the mindset. And I don't ever think, like with mortgage protection, coming out of mortgage protection, you had your tire kickers. Here, I don't think it's a tire kicker. I think it's a person who has already established some form of a need for coverage. I think it's an easier sell than a mortgage protection lead, although I've probably in my lifetime been more successful over volume of mortgage protection. But Ethos brings a higher premium because you're typically talking to a working person or somebody who has a of income, who has less time to spend on the phone. It's just, there's a lot of different mindsets that go behind the person that's actually an Ethos client. A lot of them are untrusting. A lot of them don't disclose medical information. I mean, there's so many aspects to that client. And believe me, I didn't learn this from not doing it. I learned it from failing more than you will ever fail. The goal is to give you the tools and the understanding of the clientele so that you don't have to go through all the learning curve that we already went through to get to this point.
Yeah, love it. So your Ethos, your 20 some appointments per week, what's the balance between typically how many do you book over the phone versus how many do you book via your text and your CRM?
So, wow. So that's a good thing. I say to people all the time, the ones that don't book through my CRM are the ones that get dialed. So we're hitting them both ways. We run them through a funnel. But what I can tell you is the ones that book through the funnel, those are typically my appointments. The ones that get dialed, the ones that answer the phones, I think we have to have the mindset of two things. Number one, man, they're going to want to try to get you off the phone because they're busy and they weren't expecting you to make the phone call. But I have come to understand that the ones that get you off the phone the fastest are the ones that are going to no-show you the fastest or the most, or it's a higher probability. The ones that you kind of connect with on a shorter level or on a faster level, I think those are the ones that are going to definitely show up. But we've learned that it's better that if they have the time at that point in time, like when you dial them, when you're on the phone with them, if they will allow you to run an appointment, run the appointment, because you'll never get them back on the phone if you don't. I will tell you, I'm not the greatest at that. That is not my bread and butter. Man, Kara and Mac McDaniel, who are on my team, Kara McDaniel is a beast. Like, if you have never listened to her dial the phone on an Ethos lead, man, it is something to watch. Not to mention the fact that she goes right into the appointment and she has 5 kids. So when she dials the phone, she blocks off like 2 and 3 hour windows and she's running all of her appointments on the fly. So she's buying the lead, she's dialing the phone, and she's running the appointment right there. And her and Mac are typically between 5,000 and 7,000 a week. And they got 5 kids and they probably don't work 6 hours between the two of them.
Gotcha.
So It's not the mortgage protection. Mortgage protection are more the people who want to meet in the evening. Ethos people could be people who are working during the day, during the nights, and off during the days. It's a different beast.
Love it. JK2, I'm gonna put you up, buddy. But one last thing, Chris. Call me up and let's do a typical Ethos phone script.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, John, Chris Tinsman here. My name is not going to ring a bell because you don't know me, but I know that you were online looking for life insurance through a company named Ethos over the last week to 2 weeks. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Look, we noticed that you had not completed the application. The reason being is typically people do not get the coverage they were looking for or the pricing they were looking for, or they were very skeptical about putting their personal information into the website. Would you say that that's kind of what happened with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. So they forwarded me your information. I am a broker, which means I go directly to 30 different carriers, which means I can probably get you the coverage and the price you were looking for. My job is to help you. Do you have a few minutes now?
Actually, I'm at work right now. Can you call me back later this evening?
Yeah, awesome. I definitely can. What time do you typically get home? And is there another person, spouse, or partner that you would like to be involved in this?
No, just me. And I usually get home, sometime between 6 and 7.
Okay, awesome. So I have a 6:30 available. Is there any particular reason why you cannot pick up the phone at 6:30?
Shouldn't be.
Okay. And I know that people run into emergencies, and I know because this is a preempted phone call and you did not know I was calling today, so something probably could come up. I'm going to be calling you from this same phone number. If you do not pick up, I will shoot you a text message. Is that okay?
Perfect.
Awesome. I will call you at 6:30. Again, my name is Chris Tinsman. And again, I am just trying to make this process a little bit easier for you. Is there anything in particular you need me to know before we end this phone call?
Nope. All is good.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thanks
So,
so much. Mm-hmm.
Chris, with the people that do no show you, they don't pick up the phone. You just put them back in the CRM and just let it ride, or do you try to reach out personally to them?
No. So here's what I typically do. If they don't answer the phone, I will shoot them a text message, and the text message will say, "Hey, John, this is Chris. You asked me to call you at 6:30 this evening, and you said that you were going to answer your phone. I hope that everything's okay and you didn't run into an emergency, but I just wanted to let you know I called you like I promised I would." That's it. And the reason I say that is because what I get is I get a lot of people feeling guilty that they didn't answer their phone. And a lot of times they'll text me back and reschedule immediately.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. Love it. JK2, you're up.
That's hard to follow as well, but feel free to stay on as well. So Chris, you and I had a great conversation last week for like over an hour. And so kind of like want to dive into kind of what we talked about. We'll go a little bit more in depth of what JK said, but I want to real quick go back to what you guys were talking about the holiday season. This is an objection not a lot of people will get, but you will get this objection this time of year. Just so people can have it that are still on the call. How do you handle, or what is your rebuttal to, hey, can we put this off to the new year?
So for me, it's always a matter of, okay, I understand you want to wait until the new year. That's fine. We can always put the policy in and you can get it started in the new year. But just so that you know, over the holidays, typically it takes anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to get approved. So I'd like to go ahead and get this policy put in to the carrier, because underwriting could potentially push you into the new year anyways.
I like that. I like that a lot. So let's kind of like dive in a little bit more into the ethos leads and kind of transition to the latter. We're getting into the good time of the year where, it's a good time to do policy reviews for our existing clients, but of the people that will write, um, you created a fantastic way to get referrals from that way. So we'll hit on that, but you and I had a great conversation, and I really loved how transparent and real you are with them. Sometimes I feel like with mortgage protection, um, you can sometimes be that way with them, but you can't really be as honest with mortgage protection leads as you can be with ethos leads, maybe because it's a different clientele with them. But I love what you said when you're like booking the appointment. You reaffirm several times like, hey, like if you don't answer, I'm assuming something happened to you, like you croaked over and died. Where does that kind of like come from in the sense, and how can maybe people gain that confidence? And I love what you said. JK says this all the time. We are providing a service to them, but we're not selling vitamins to these people. We're not selling vacuum cleaners. So how do you kind of like get that confidence to have that conversation with them or be able to speak that boldly to them?
Yeah, and I think we talked about this a little bit, and I think confidence in the beginning is hard for new agents, but you have to remember something. They're going to respect you more for being honest and telling them the truth, because most people are going to sugarcoat it.
Mm-hmm.
And most people just want you to tell the truth. So like if I'm talking to JK too, my thought process is no different than I'm talking to a client. I mean, my job is to help him. And if you truly don't believe that your job is to help them and that you can't put them into or give them or put them into a product that puts them into a better position than they currently are, then you're sadly mistaken. And this is not the business for you. I just believe that everybody deserves the truth. My job is not to sell them a product. My job is to educate them on a product so that they can make a good decision.
I love that a lot. Now, with these people, because they are online, a lot of times you'll get this in dialing. They are looking for a quote. So when you get them on the phone, I think a lot of newer agents get trigger happy. Like, oh my God, like if it's 99 cents, like at the dollar menu, they're going to get it. So how do you kind of like set that expectation with them, or try to figure out like, okay, is this guy just looking for a quote? Because I'm not that person. I'm here to help you. If you want a quote, continue to go back on Google and continue searching through, or we can get this done and get this off your plate. Because we both know why they're on Ethos is because of the way that our society is today. They want next day delivery on a policy, and that's what we're trying to do on that. So how do you kind of like set that table with these people?
Well, a couple of things are going to happen with the Ethos clientele. Number one, they typically want 500, 750, $1 million. Very, very commonly, which, we all want what we want. The question really boils down to is, can you afford it? And does it make sense? And what protects your family? So I think what they want and what protects their family are two different numbers. Mm-hmm. So I'm always trying to listen to my client and ask good questions as to what they're looking for. Why are they looking for that amount? How many years do they want the coverage? And then you have to be very clear when you talk to these people about their health, because underwriting is the key to getting it approved. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these people, and a lot of people in general, are not paying attention to medications that doctors are giving them. And then they tend to be multi-use medications or drugs. And then that's where you really get yourself into trouble, especially if you're going to go through underwriting and you're going to do blood work and you're going to do all of that. I would rather put to smaller policies together, or I will tell them, let's get you something now to get your family protected. Let's get it approved, and then we can always go back later and get more. Or we can stack our insurance. I'm big into stacking insurance. I like to get them a portion of it as permanent and a portion of it as temporary, because what you'll find is that most people believe that they can afford $1 million policy. They want it permanent until you tell them it's $500 a month.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, and then they don't want anything. Well, here's the thing. Like, what are we trying to accomplish first? Because their term has its place in the industry for debt protection. Permanent coverage is for a death benefit. And cash value is for the person who can spare some change, if you will. So I believe there's 3 types of persons that are looking for insurance. And I believe that that's the categories. I truly do. But I just think when you're dealing with an Ethos client, you're dealing with a very, very different client. I consider it a very different, man, it's a beast. It's a monster. It's a beast. But, you know, I kind of, so stupid, but I kind of think of my life and the challenge of insurance as a video game. And if you play a game with a monster or a beast in it, you have to hit it 1,000,000 times in order to break the barrier down to kill the beast. It's the same thing here. We had to do this 1,000,000 times in our group to figure out the beast. The question is now that you know all of the parameters that are associated with the beast, what are you going to do with those tools? And that's why I tell people all the time, man, I wish I had a me when I got into this business, because it would have eliminated a lot of stress, a lot of frustration, a lot of failure. But I believe I'm a better person because the number of failures that I had to go through to figure out what was actually going on with the Ethos client. And I would tell you, I did not do this all on my own. Like, we as a group, the Valdez group, we took the Ethos leads and we ran with them for 6 months to a year before anybody really got a handle on what was going on. And I will tell you, we all collaborated to figure it out because it was not easy. But please take notes and write this stuff down, because it will make your transition a lot easier.
Yes, I agree. And I think you can agree with this statement. A reason why we're having the conversation with them is because they didn't get the right price, what they saw, probably because of a medication or a health issue. And that's where we have to come in, and it's like, okay, I'm here to set expectation for you. I know there's a reason why you went to a website, is because you didn't want to deal with me specifically, because you think we had this conversation because I am a car salesman. I am not that person. You got to let me help you. There's a reason why that failed for you. Now I'm here to help you. You have to disclose everything to me.
Yep. And you just ask them, say, look, I don't judge you. God judges you. So you can tell me anything about your health that you want to tell me, because I've probably already heard it at least once before. So any medication that you can think about that you've taken in the last 5 to 7 years, I need to know, because they're doing a 7-year look back, and in some cases it's 10. So even if you think it's not important, tell me anyways. That way we can at least disclose it, and it doesn't look like we're hiding it, which is what the insurance carrier does not want you to do, because then they don't trust you.
Yeah, exactly. I love that a lot. So let's transition. You had I don't know if it's still posted on anywhere. Maybe it's on Spotify or Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast. But you had an awesome call with Bill OG, what, 3 weeks ago?
It was the playbook, yeah.
Yep, it was a producer's playbook. And guys, I've been neglectful of it, but I've started to listen to it. They're not even like a half hour long, but please dedicate your time, because you're going to pick up some gold nuggets. But I love this. So Chris, you write me and my wife, let's say we are an Ethos lead. We have, beneficiaries. What are you kind of like doing in that time where you might be able to get a referral to call that person, whether it's a beneficiary or, just a family friend that needs to know that they have the policy. And then what are you saying to them, in that when you call them?
Yep. I basically just say, okay, JK, now that we've put this in place for you and your family, is there anybody else in your family or circle of friends that needs to know that you have this policy?
I can think of a few people.
Okay. And then if you wouldn't mind, I would love to contact them so that they can put my contact information into their phone. Can you give me the few people that you would like me to reach out to and let them know that we put this in place for you?
Yes, I can.
Okay, awesome. So I'll take down the numbers, and then that same day that I do that, I typically will call those people. If I can't get a hold of them, it'll be within 24 hours. So I'll call them and say, hey, my name is Chris Tinsman. My name's not going to ring a bell. I just put a really important life policy on JK2. He wanted me to make sure that you knew that he had that policy. That way, if anything ever happened to him and nobody could figure out what was going on, you could contact me. So are you in a place where you can take down my name and phone number? And
Yes.
then they pretty much do. And then I just give it to them. And then I say to them, okay, so now that I've given you that information, one really quick thing before I get off the phone, is there anybody in your family that does not have this type of coverage in place that you think could also benefit from it? That's it. There's no pressure. It's a yes or no question. And if they say, no, we're good, thank you, I say, awesome. Just make sure that you put my phone number in a safe place. Okay, typically they're putting it into their phone, but I can tell you right now, this is so crazy. I'm working with a client right now. I told JK I'm 6 referrals deep on them, and then their cousin just sent me an email this morning, and I'm sitting an appointment with them, so that'll be 7.
Wow,
And it's
that's
one lead.
yeah, that's phenomenal. Because you're highlighting the living benefits. You're asking them if they have coverage outside of work. It's amazing how many people don't know about the living benefits. And it's amazing too, because I'm going through this too. I wrote a client, thought a policy lapsed. She still had it in force, so the family can get another death benefit check. But now I can't get a hold of them because the number's disconnected. And it's like you need to have those backup people, especially if you're with a spouse. I'll use me because I use me and my wife as an example. That spouse could be going through, the worst time, to a great grieving process, to be able to think straight. Someone needs to be there outside of the beneficiary to be able to help along with them, and they need to know that you're there to help serve them. So Chris, I think that's phenomenal. And that you're doing that. And it's very nonchalant. You're not asking them for pressure, because I've always heard this referrals is always about I. You're then putting it then because they do need to have your phone number in that time of grief. And then you're just nonchalantly like, hey, I'm just going to throw it out there. If they know, it's not going to impact you. Not at all. It's like, oh, I don't care what they say.
No, it doesn't hurt my feelings. And I just say, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you already have coverage in place. You have to be the biggest cheerleader of your client.
Yeah.
If you are not, then you are not doing this business for the right reason. I am a cheerleader. Like, if you have coverage in place, awesome. Like, I'm all about it. Like, thank you, because it allows me to sleep at night, because at least I did my job, right?
Mhm.
And all I did was ask a question. I put zero pressure on them. I put zero expectation on there. And I've had one guy say, well, you're doing this to get referrals. No, actually, I'm not. I really don't care what you say. You either have coverage or you don't. It's my job to ask you. That's it. Like, I literally said that to him, and he's like, oh, okay. Like, I think he was taken back, because he was trying to call me out on asking for a referral. And I was trying to tell him, no, actually, it's my job.
I love that. So, and just wrapping up, JK, I'll have you come back on as we're going a couple minutes over. But really, in just wrapping up, just be really bold with your Ethos clients. They are buyers, but they're a different type of buyer. They're a different type of breed. So you got to be really strong. I love how you said in booking appointments with them, like, hey, it's like, hey, I'm taking time out of my day to give you a call. are you going to answer for me?
Yeah.
If not, then, you know, I'm assuming something is wrong because you're taking this time out of your day as well to book this time with me. And I love the text that you sent. But you know, any closing comments, Chris, and JK, same as you.
No, just change your mindset, love what you do, and just know that you got to fail in order to succeed. And don't beat yourself up over it, because every day you get to start over.
The only thing I'll say in closing, JK, too, is that, man, I'm so glad that we got this recorded. I would, I would post this recording, and I would basically put that this will be a call that literally you can listen to every 3 to 4 days to make sure you're on track to make the next 55 days. And going into your new year in 2026, if you can start building up the necessary momentum now going into 2026, you can definitely have your best financial year ever in 2026. So